stones, and he built this beautiful complex we have now 4,700 years ago. This is a very important guy, by the way, man. This man, his name was Imhotep. Even the ancient Egyptians considered him as a god later on, and they made him or consider him as the god of medicine in ancient Egypt. They built for him shrines everywhere. He was from Luxor originally, and they built for him shrines everywhere in Egypt, respected him so much, honored him so much. Even I can go further and say they worshipped him at the end of the Egyptian history.
Want to point out to the viewers the difference between Imhotep and there's another one called Amunhotep. So if you can tell the difference between both, please.
Actually, the difference is in time and in many things. Imhotep, the architect who built the complex here, and as I just said, the Egyptian consider him as the god of medicine later on in the Egyptian history. He was an official, an ordinary man from the commoners, who was a hard worker and reached to a very high position in the Egyptian history in the third dynasty. And third dynasty, we're talking about like 2700 BC. Amunhotep, many kings carried this name, and Amunhotep is a totally different meaning. Imhotep, the ancient Egyptian name is Imhotep, which means the coming in peace. Amunhotep is Amunhotep. Amun is God Amun, like Tutankhamun, the famous name of one of the ancient Egyptian gods. Amun, and Hotep means satisfied. So God Amun is satisfied. You have Amunhotep the first, you have Amunhotep the second, you have Amunhotep the third, you have Amunhotep the fourth, who changed his name later on to be Akhenaten, and even some of the officials carried this name as well. And the time of Amunhotep is from the New Kingdom time, which means at least 1,000 years after Imhotep. The ancient Egyptian, they built, or each king, let's say, each king built a complex for himself to serve him after his death. And this complex, let's say, is consisting of main elements. The pyramid as a burial, a temple to serve him after his death, known as the mortuary temple or the funerary temple, or actually as the ancient Egyptian called it, the temple of the millions of years. Another temple called the valley temple. And maybe all these elements were surrounded with a wall, and this wall known as an enclosure wall. This is the first example, let's say, we have, and we have things in this complex of King Zoser never repeated again in the Egyptian history, like this colonnade hall, for instance. So if we will point out what we have here in this area, this enclosure wall, which was surrounding the whole complex of King Zoser or Djeser, who built the pyramid inside, the step pyramid, to be accurate with you. Even some people refuse even to call it the step pyramid, and they rather call it the step mastabas. And we have 2 rooms there, and we have a temple known as Hipsid temple over there. This enclosure wall was 109 meters by over 200 meters, I think 210 meters. So 109, 210 was surrounding the whole site of of the complex of King Zoser. I would like to mention here that any building, a complete building, I'm not talking about a floor or a roof or somewhere here or there in the complex of any king was built from a stone, but I'm talking about the whole complex made out of a stone is this one. And imagine with me, if this is the first building made out of a stone, the buildings before this building, these buildings were made out of what? And you will find the materials the ancient Egyptians they used, it was from their nature. So before the stone, with no doubt, it was from mud, as mud bricks. And if they need a pillar, this pillar will be wood, and this wood will be something from a tree, like a palm tree or a tree trunk or something, a tree. And if I need a ceiling, this ceiling will be, for sure, it will be from also the from wood, from palm trees or trees.
Like branches, for example,
Branches,
or something like
yes.
that. Okay.
But when I want to touch something, maybe this tree or this palm tree or this this palm tree, yes, is not soft, not smooth. So they need to make it smooth, because I might put my hand on this one, my lean, my touch. So you will find them cover it to make it smooth. And also for decoration, they will cover it with reeds as well. You will find Imhotep, and that's the genius thing. He took all these things and put them on stones. So when you go inside, you will find the ceiling imitating palm trees, roof of palm trees. When we see the pillars, you will feel they are reeds too, covered by reeds as well. When you walk further inside, you will see that just this man, he imitated the things before him, but this time on stones. And that's the interesting thing, or that's the genius thing I think Imhotep did. As well, sometimes you have palm trees, and then the ancient Egyptian covered the ceiling with a mattress, and this mattress also will be from reeds, bamboo or something like that, from their nature as well. So you will find the Egyptians as well, they took this from their nature and they put it on stones as well. Here, that was this enclosure wall. We know it now as the enclosure wall, and it imitates the facade of the ancient Egyptian palace, the palace of the king, but now it will be for his burial place. So they made the facade of the complex, and the entrance is here also in this facade, imitating or looks like the facade of the palace. The outer wall was surrounding the palace. Then you have the elements inside. By the way, that's limestone. And when we talk later about the other pyramids, when you see the other pyramids, I want the people to know that this pyramid, this site, these stones, the mud brick, was not from here. I mean, the quarry was not from here, so it was tough, really tough. So they had to cut the stones from somewhere else, quite far, and then they paved all the way from that quarry to here to build this place.
basically, we could say that it was, just to point out this for the viewers, we can say that this was transported somehow from another place to here.
Yes.
All the bricks themselves, and they transported them here, and then they built it here.
Yes, true. Even
Okay.
we say sometimes that Saqqara pyramid, the step pyramid in Saqqara, and Dahshur, the two pyramids built after that, they built in the wrong location because they were built not where they got the stones from. They built them in that site, and then the stones they were from another site. And the first pyramid built in the right location is Giza pyramid because that's where they got the stones from.
Reach the end of this episode of Treasures, but stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Next episode, we're going to talk about more about what the pyramids are about. We're going to have more information about the same location that we're in right now, which is Saqqara. So stay tuned with us next time. Until then, it's bye-bye.